According to ESPN insider Adam Schefter, the Chicago Bears could be leaning towards trading the number 1 overall pick, and they've already received many offers for the number 1 overall pick from other teams. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news update video, which I'll be doing anytime there's Chicago Bears news going on. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my reaction and my analysis to all the latest breaking Chicago Bears news in the next couple months as we cover the 2023 Chicago Bears offseason. But today, guys, we got a bit of confirmation on stuff that we honestly already knew. Okay, so if you've been following my YouTube channel, if you've been, a Bears fan with common sense, you would know that the Bears have been extremely likely to trade the number 1 overall pick ever since they got it secured. Okay, the last week of the season, Houston Texans won that game at the end. We lost our game. Lovie Smith gifted us a number 1 overall pick, and ever since that moment, most Bears fans knew that that pick was most likely going to be traded, okay, because there's so many great quarterbacks available in this year's class. Okay, a lot of great quarterback prospects as compared to last year. You have Bryce Young at the top, potentially. You have Will Levis from Kentucky. You have CJ Stroud from Ohio State. You also got, Anthony Richardson from Florida. So a lot of intriguing quarterback prospects. And obviously the Bears don't have a big need at quarterback right now, even though Justin Fields, according to many metrics, maybe not the best passing quarterback last year. Definitely has many areas to grow on in the passing game. But with how bad the situation was around him and with what he did with the roster last year, okay, the worst roster by far in the NFL, a bad supporting cast on the offense, a bad defense too, the worst defense in the NFL. He still had us competing in the vast majority of games last year, and he's only 23 years old. Okay, so makes no sense in the world to get rid of Justin Fields right now. You have to give him another chance with an actual, solid, at least average level roster around him and see what he has next year before you even think about moving off, the most talented quarterback prospect in Chicago Bears history. So, a lot of us Bears fans already knew that this was going to be very likely, okay? We would be trading the number 1 overall pick for a haul and potentially trading back multiple times with how many quarterbacks are actually available at the top of this draft. And it seems like Adam Schefter has kind of confirmed our thoughts. So he reported this morning that according to sources, the Bears already have been approached by multiple teams about trading the draft's number 1 overall pick, and Chicago is said to be leaning towards moving the pick. So the number 1 overall pick now looks like it's for sale. Again, no really surprised here. Like, all of us Bears fans knew this was going to be the case, but it's good to be, having this confirmed by an actual insider, okay? A credible one, right? Because Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport are the only guys I actually trust when it comes to inside NFL news. I don't trust the Jason La Canfornas or, random people at different networks. These guys, these two are the most credible, sources of news consistently over the past, 10 plus years. Obviously, they get some stuff wrong every once in a while, but for the vast majority of their reports, they are true. So hearing that the Bears have already been approached by multiple teams for the number 1 overall pick before we even have the NFL scouting combine, okay, the scouting combine is later this week, that is a really good sign that a feeding frenzy could be approaching for this number 1 overall pick, and the Bears potentially could be trading back even multiple times at the top of the draft. Keep in mind, guys, a lot of teams need quarterback in this year's draft. Okay, if you look at just the teams in the top 10, obviously you got the Texans need a quarterback, the Colts need a quarterback, Las Vegas needs a quarterback, they cut Derek Carr, Atlanta potentially needs a quarterback unless they like what they saw out of Desmond Ridder, which really was not that much. Carolina needs a quarterback too. They have such a good roster but not a good quarterback currently. So that's already 5 teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback. Okay, before free agency they need a quarterback, and I'm not even counting teams like the Seattle Seahawks at pick number 5 that could maybe draft a quarterback to mold behind Geno Smith. Geno Smith is 33 and he only has had one good season ever in his NFL career. So, the Seahawks having multiple first round picks, maybe they trade up to number 1. You got the Detroit Lions, who although Jared Goff has been having pretty solid seasons, with this good supporting cast around him, do they want a quarterback, a young one, to mold and take them over the top to being a championship level team? That's a possibility because, again, the Lions also have multiple first round picks and a lot of draft assets. So could be as many as 7 teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback, and there's a lot of teams even outside the top 10 obviously that need quarterback too. Okay, Tennessee Titans potentially, New York Jets, you got maybe the Patriots, probably not. The Commanders, it seems like they're going to go with Sam Howell, but even that you can never be too certain, right? So with the sheer amount of teams that need a quarterback this year, and with the supply being so low of good quality quarterbacks, every single year, the Bears could be receiving a very, very good haul, okay? Franchise-changing haul for the number 1 overall pick. And, if teams are already calling on the number 1 overall pick before the scouting combine has even happened, okay? Before they've gotten a chance to even meet with these, prospects up close, go to their pro days, watch them throw, all that. Obviously that doesn't change too much, right? Because most of the work is done on film. But still, meeting with these prospects and evaluating them in person is still a big part of the scouting process. So if we're already getting so many calls before that's happened, imagine what the calls are going to be like when they've actually met with these guys and when they actually have pressure to get a deal done, because the NFL draft will be approaching very, very soon. Okay, the NFL draft is only about 2 months away, guys. So once we get to like middle of March, late March, there's going to be a lot of pressure on teams to really ramp up their offer and get the deal done, because if they don't, they're going to lose. Okay, if you snooze, you lose. You might be giving up the opportunity to draft your guy to somebody else, perhaps a division rival, like in the case of the Houston Texans. Okay, if the Texans don't want to go up to number 1 and get their guy, the Colts, their division rival, could be doing that. Maybe the Titans could be doing that as well. So you really have to take into account, how the bidding war is going to affect what the Bears could be getting for the number 1 overall pick. Okay, according to my knowledge so far, Bryce Young is the number 1 overall guy. It seems like a lot of teams are really liking Bryce Young's ability to throw in the pocket, be accurate from the pocket, and still be a guy that can have mobility to escape some sacks. So it seems like Young is going to be the number 1 overall pick. But if the Bears can stay in the top 4 after trading back once, okay, so if their first trade is with the Colts or with the Texans to go back to either number 2 or number 4, they could very well trade back again, because there's 3 other quarterbacks at the top that very well, could be quarterback prospects that teams fall in love with. Like I mentioned, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson all have very good tools, all have showed something in college football that have caused them to be viewed as top of the first round type of quarterback prospects. And that would be the ideal situation for the Chicago Bears. Okay, imagine trading back to like number 2 or number 4 and then trading back again to just get so many picks to help out their rebuild. I mean, the Bears need talent everywhere, okay? They have needs everywhere on the roster. It's not just the defensive line. It's not just the offensive line. We have needs at practically every position on the roster besides, maybe a few. So even though we would love to have our choice of Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, or maybe have Will Anderson, Jalen Carter guaranteed at pick number 4, I don't think Ryan Poles is ruling out trading back even further if the value he gets is worth it to trade back that far. I mean, what if a team like the Titans offers you their entire farm, maybe like a Jeffrey Simmons too on the defensive line, to go up to number 1? Like, obviously you have to consider that, even though you would be out of the range of a Jalen Carter or a Will Anderson. So it all depends on, how much the Bears value Jalen Carter or Will Anderson above the other prospects in this year's draft, and how much they value future picks as well. I think that the best possible case for the Bears will be trading back, once to number 2 with the Texans, and then trading back again to number 4 with the Colts, to keep them in the top 4, still have a chance at Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, and still get a crap ton of other picks on top of that. So that's the best case scenario, but obviously the best case scenario doesn't always happen. There could also be other picks, other offers, even beyond what I'm thinking right now. So whatever the case is, I do think that Ryan Poles is going to get the proper value out of this number 1 overall pick, because he is doing a lot of due diligence on the quarterbacks in this year's class as well, to at least show that he might be interested in taking a quarterback, just to probably get the value of the number 1 overall pick even higher. Okay, according to Jay Jones 9 on Twitter, he said that the Bears are planning to meet this week with the top quarterbacks in this year's draft at the NFL Combine. So they will be meeting with Bryce Young, with CJ Stroud, with all the guys at the top, just to give the impression that they might go quarterback at number 1 and maybe make another team pay even more for the number 1 overall pick. I don't think that's very necessary if other teams already really like the quarterbacks at the top. So even if you didn't do that, I feel like you would have been fine. But why not do it just to create even more confusion, even more chaos among NFL GMs this year, right? Because the more uncertainty you cause, the greater the chance of somebody potentially overpaying for your pick, right? Because they don't know what's going to happen with you potentially drafting their guys. So I think that Ryan Poles really is doing a good job of playing the media, playing, analysts on TV, because a lot of analysts on TV recently have been thinking that the Bears could be trading Justin Fields and drafting a quarterback number 1, but according to the insiders out there like Adam Schefter, that's likely not going to be the case. He also said on ESPN 1000 that, I know there's talks about Justin Fields, I'm not buying it, I think he's their guy. So the Bears will be committed most likely to Justin Fields for the following year, give him another shot with the improved roster, both with draft picks and with free agent signings, and hopefully it all works out, okay, and we trade the number 1 overall pick for an absolute haul of future picks. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below. I'll be back with more videos later this week, probably covering the scouting combine, maybe doing a video breaking down which players to look at. But otherwise, free agency starts in 2 weeks. Get ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.